Hello, and welcome back to the studio for yet another unboxing. I'm Dr. Wigo, and today we're going to be unboxing the A6700, or Alpha 6700. I call it A. Alpha's 2 syllables. I'm going to tell you why I bought it, but it's a short story, so you can stick around. But if you want to just skip straight to the unboxing, skip to the next chapter. And then the chapter after that, I'll be doing some simple setup, just enough to get it going so that I can put it over here, pointed at me, and so you can get an idea of what it can do. And then after that, I'll give you my final thoughts in the last chapter. Why did I buy this? You know why. Bennett! Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis. I'll link his video of the announcement down below. He got a pre-release copy because he's special. I'm a nobody, so I had to wait and buy one. But I'll link his video down below, going through all the specs and features. I'll cover some of it in this video, but if you want to know everything it can do, watch his video down below. I'll also link down below, he did a series of videos comparing this camera to the FX30, the A7 IV, the ZV-E10. I also have a ZV-E10 over here, which we'll get to in a minute. I don't even think I'm in the frame. It's a really great camera. It's basically the innards of the FX30, although not as fancy. It only has one card slot. It doesn't have a fan. So the FX30 is a better camera, and it's a $400 more expensive camera. But this camera has the new AI processing, the incredible autofocus. Yes, Sony autofocus is amazing, but this is even more amazing. And it's got some other AI features, which I will demonstrate when we get to that part of the video in a few chapters from now. And when we get to that point, I will put my new F1.8 11mm lens, which you can see all about in this video here from last week, and we'll see how it goes. So like I said, not much of a story. Let's get to the unboxing. Okay. So we've got, oh my goodness. It's like Sony listened to me. There's just a few little barely pamphlets in here. Unlike the lens last week, which had like a big thick stack. I like this. I know Sony's not listening to me, but apparently I wasn't the only one complaining because they did something about it. Moving on, we have a strap, which according to other unboxings I've seen, it's kind of rough and they said it'll hurt your neck, so you probably don't want to use it. Then we have this little thing, this little envelope, which contains the cover for the viewfinder. That's one advantage this has over the FX30 is really a cinema camera. This is a hybrid camera. It does photography, so hence the viewfinder, which the FX30 lacks. Then we have another for my growing collection of the Z100 batteries. These are great batteries. They last about 2 hours. 140 minutes, I think, is the officially rated number. But they last 2 hours. I've never shot that long, and when I have, I've wanted to kill myself. So they're just amazing. All that's left is the camera. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, wait, all the other cameras came with USB cables. Well, I guess Sony's decided you already have a USB cable, and if you don't, you're going to have to go buy one because they do not give you any kind of way to charge this battery in this camera. I think they know it's not your first camera, but for a lot of people, it may be their first camera. So if it's your first camera, make sure you have a USB cable so you can charge the batteries to get going. Let's get the box out of the way and get this thing out of the bag. Ooh, that's nice. So this is the A6700. It's the new top of the line in the Alpha series, which was the A6600. This now comes in above that. It's the sensor and processor from the FX30 with some of the features in the firmware and the AI processing of the ZV-E1, which came out recently. Now, size-wise, it's a bit smaller than the FX30. It's 4.8 inches versus 5.1, 2.7 inches versus 3.1, 3 inches versus 3.3. So the FX30 is larger in every dimension. The A7 IV is much larger in every dimension. It's like 5 inches wide by 3.8 by 3.1. The A7C is slightly smaller. It's about the same. It's 4.88 inches, so it's slightly longer this way. Actually, it's pretty much the same size, except 2.35 versus 3. And the ZVE10, of course, is much smaller. It's like 4.6 by 2.63 by 1.81. I'll have all these on the screen for you. Weight-wise, this is just over a pound, 1.1 pounds, 493 grams. FX30 is 1.2 pounds, 562 grams. The A7 IV is 1.4 pounds, 658 grams. A7C, like I said, close to the same size. It's slightly narrow in a couple of dimensions. The sensor in this is the same as in the FX30. On the screen, I will compare it to the ZVE10 sensor, which is slightly, well, it's the same physical size, but this has a 27 megapixel sensor and the ZVE10 is 24 megapixels. This has electronic and mechanical shutter. The ISO range is the same as the ZVE10 and the FX. Most of the stats are going to be the same as the FX30 because it's the same sensor. Battery life, 2 hours. It has IBIS, the 5-way stabilization. Here's a bad thing. The little flippy screen is 1.03 million dots, whereas the FX30, it's 2.36 million dots. So that's a much sharper, higher resolution little flippy screen. The A7 IV, it has the same. It's the 1 million dot. But of course, the A7C and the ZVE10 have 921,000 dot flip out screens. So FX30 wins on the flippy screen. Some of the more interesting features, it has a little extra wheel here under the selector. You have photos and movies and S&Q, which means you have the ability to save 3 different sets of settings for each of photographs, movies, and S&Q. And then, of course, you can add more, but you have to put them onto the SD card, and when you format the SD card, they go away. So 3 for each. So you have 9 sets of settings that you can store in the camera. It has the little hot shoe for the fancy Sony microphones. There's a video about that. I'll link that down below. Oh, I didn't put on the little... You just slide that down like that. You got your viewfinder, which I will probably never use. Never say never. It's likely that, like, out and about with this little screen doesn't do as well in the daylight. So maybe I'll use it then. Well, let me get a battery. One nice thing about it using the Z100 batteries, it's the same battery in the A7C, in the FX30, and the A7 IV. The ZVE10s use the smaller battery, which doesn't last as long, the 50s. But by using the same battery, it means I always have these lying around, charged up, ready to go. Well, let's turn it on for the first time. So we're going to go with English. Privacy notice. Even cameras have privacy notices. I'm not going to connect the smartphone right now. I can do it later. Set date and time. Really, Sony? You have to roll the hours all the way around to get from AM to PM. You can't just click on the AM and PM and have it switch. Put that in your next firmware. Okay, that's what time it is. Oh, now this is great. If you watch my videos, you know I hate overheating cameras. That's why I didn't buy a ZVE1, because it has a tendency to overheat. Well, look at here. Do you want to set the auto power off temp to high? Why, yes, I do. It doesn't even make you wait. It's just during the initial setup. Oh, and the other thing this has, even though the screen isn't that high resolution, but you can swipe menus in from the left and right. There we go. See? Now, this is not all I want to set. There's one. Now let's hit menu. File format. Slightly smaller files and slightly higher image quality is the H265, which is the HS. But in HS, you don't get 30 frames per second. You only get 24 or 60. So I'm going to have to use S, which is the 265 codec. But that will give me, see, there's the 30 frames per second frame rate that I use. I use 8-bit. I only need a card that can do 100 megabytes a second. I have a card that will do way more than that. This is, I think, a 300 megabyte per second card. Card slots around on this end. So now it has a card. Now also on the, while we're here, you have your mini HDMI, which is one of the downsides of this camera. The FX30 has a full-size HDMI. The mini HDMI just has a tendency, they're finicky and they can break. Oh, and you're going to want to take these off. They have the little rattly, I don't know why they do that. Now at this other end we have the mic input, and there's the USB-C port for charging, but more importantly, streaming. That's one of the things that this camera does that the ZVE1 also does. You can plug this into your computer via USB-C and stream up to 4K 30. Again, go check out Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis. He does streams lately. He's done a few. Oh, and it's also charging it while it's doing that. It's not charging as fast as it's draining, but Mark Bennett streamed for 4 hours and he still had 65% battery left because it's filling it back up as it's going down. So it takes a long time to drain the battery. Oh, there's one other important thing I need to do. File settings, file name format. I want title. So I like to name them the camera name. So this is going to be the A6700. As when it records, the file names will be A6700 and then the sequence number. We got a battery in it. We have a card in it. What we need now is a lens. Oh, and looky here. It's the 11mm Sony F1.8 lens that I unboxed last week. Well, why don't we put that on here? There's that little sensor. Line up the little white dots. I am not good at this. Seriously. 4K 30. I got 4 hours left on the card. This thing's really sensitive. When you're clicking on these little arrows here, if you miss it, well there, see? It goes away. So what I'm going to do now is put it on a tripod over here. I put it into auto framing mode, so when I set it over here on the tripod,
later,
we're back. And this is the A6700 in tracking mode with a large crop. But you see, as I move around, it automatically tracks me. That's kind of cool. See, it tries to keep me in the frame. That crop's a little big.
a little later.
Okay, now we're back with a medium crop on the tracking. Now remember, I have the 11mm lens on here, so, well, on the little screen, I can see my hands are not even at the edges. But in this screen, okay, the bad news is you have to stop recording to change this.
A few minutes later.
This is the FX30 with the 16mm. Now this is the A6700 with the 11mm, and it's actually slightly closer than the FX30. So as you can see way more of the table. My hand is going out of the screen over here, but over here, but when I put it into the tracking mode at the Well, this is allegedly at the tracking mode of the small crop, and I don't see any crop. So at the moderate level, it recognized me right away and zoomed in. And it's tracking me around. But when I put it at this, I'm going to put it back on this on the small crop, but on the small crop, it didn't zoom in on me at all.
More moments later.
Small crop level, I don't see any. It's not, the box isn't coming in from the edges. It's just staying all. Is a small crop equal to a zero crop? My thought was that I could use this AI auto tracking thing, so I could use the 11 millimeter lens and then have it crop in a bit so it would be closer to the 16 millimeter. And then if I moved around, it would follow me. But what seems to be happening, if I put it on the lowest level crop, I don't seem to get any crop at all. And when I put on the moderate crop, it crops into about here. So I lose too much of the frame.
Moments later.
So I have the A6700 on a switch pod sitting on the table with the 11 millimeter. Interesting. And I can go this way. This clearly has virtually zero applications in the studio. For my other job, where I make videos for school and lectures, this could be good because I could walk around, well, within reason.
You get the idea.
So now I have it back on the tripod, slightly in front of the FX30, again with the 11 millimeter lens. I'll just cut between the 16 millimeter and the 11 millimeter, and you can see how much wider it is. I was hoping that with the AI tracking, that with the small crop, that it would crop in to be about the same, but no. As you saw with the small crop, it didn't crop at all, as far as I could tell. What are my initial impressions? It's a great little camera. It's the right size. I mean, I love the ZVE 10 size. I love the A7C size. I like this size. The A7 IV is a little big. FX30 is really a tripod only. What I'm really thinking about for this little guy is for vlogging. Now that I have so many cameras, I can leave the FX30 and the A7 IV in place in the studio, well, forever and ever. And then when I want to go, like, shoot a Dr. Wiggle on books down in the library, or shoot outside, or maybe actually vlog, which I keep threatening to do, I'm going to do it. The semester's starting, so it's not going to be soon, because I got to make a lot of videos for school. This is going to be a great little camera, especially with this 11 millimeter lens. I can fix things in post. I can zoom and do stuff in post. I'm pretty happy with this camera. It's a great little camera. It's the FX30 brains with the ZVE1 AI in a body that's closer to the A7C. So it just it blends two of my cameras and then things from a camera that I don't have. So that was my unboxing and setup, well, brief setup. Again, if you want, Mark Bennett did a full setup, which I will link down below. He'll walk you through all the menus and what you need to do, because he knows what he's talking about, and most of those things on the menus, I don't even know what they mean. It took me half an hour to figure out how to get the tracking thing to work. And that's actually fairly easy. Oh, well. Yeah, well, being an old dumb guy doesn't always pay out, but being an old dumb guy with money means I can buy cameras like this, and I like this camera. So that is my video for the A6700. Again, check out Mark Bennett's Camera Crisis videos down below. He goes into great detail, compares it to all of these cameras that I have around me, and then also does the full setup video. That's it for now. Come back next time for something different. We're done with cameras and lenses for a while. A, I don't need any more, and B, I'm running out of money. No more of this stuff. But I do have some stuff planned, so come back next time and see what I got in store for you. As always, thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye. I'm still waving.